So on most of my social media platforms, I've periodically lately been posting a lot of videos about active shooter training videos because in every state, obviously, there is a half-hearted attempt to really address preparing people properly for the worst case scenarios whenever it comes to self defense and an active shooter. And it doesn't take an expert to see the flaws in these videos. As you're about to see in this video that I've been on my other social media platforms have been referencing a lot, you're going to see some vulnerabilities and stupid mistakes made that the people publishing this should have been able to identify and fix before they published it. And the reason why I make a big deal of this, it doesn't have so much to do with the fact that people are stupid enough to believe this stuff, but it has more to do with the fact that if people are smart enough to see that these videos aren't preparing teachers or social workers or people in a public place, properly preparing them for an active shooter scenario, shouldn't that be enough to say we need better content? Because if you're giving horrible examples, that should be enough to say you're neglecting your task in creating good content with valuable information for people. The information I keep coming across, it's so cliche and it's so common sense. Run, hide, fight. And they use this phrase, these words, as if they are not already common sense and instinctive for people. Run like you hear bang bang and you're just going to stand there and not look for the exit. Hide as if you turn a corner, you know the shooter's coming and you're going to be too stupid to know to hide. And then the word fight, which obviously people don't always instinctively fight. More often than not, if you look at the security footage of like Columbine shootings or other footage of other shootings as well, or hear the testimonies of people who have come face to face with the shooter, people more often than not will get on their knees, beg for mercy, and then find themselves getting shot. And then the other people who were fortunate enough to escape those situations were only fortunate enough to escape it because either the rounds ran out, the person took their life, or the person was just focused on moving on and they were just shooting random people and they just happened to be one of the lucky ones to get out. The word fight is one that everybody has in the back of their mind, but in the moment where it's crucial, they're not necessarily prepared to do it because we don't know how to fight. By nature, we don't know how to fight properly. I work with troubled youth in a facility, and there are so many kids who brag about how they fight on the streets. And then whenever they throw a fist, you can see they don't know how to punch. One kid who bragged to me that he's killed people like me before, and then he said with a serious look, "I've killed 6 people." And it's like, yeah, and you're in a placement facility where you can run whenever you want. Yeah, right. You're full of it. First of all, you're full of crap. But number two, when he did throw a punch and he did land one on my face, that the punch felt like someone was throwing a muffin at me. People don't know how to fight. People are confident that because they fought all the time in the streets that they know how to fight, but they don't know how to fight whenever they come across somebody who actually knows what they're doing. And people are vulnerable. So we're going to look at a video here that I keep citing, and here's why I look at the videos that are terrible. You can still learn things from them, but what you learn from them is not based upon what the people are doing, but what they're not doing. That's what's valuable information. You can look at the stupidity of what the producers put together and pretty much come up with something else. You can pretty much determine what's wrong here. So we're going to watch it. I'm going to point out some things. First of all, first thing to note, there's couches in the room. You can already tell that's a valuable resource. You'll see why in a moment. They completely neglect fact that there's couches in the room. They don't reference this stuff, and we'll talk about that in a second.
They're still shooting, and it's getting closer. What
And
do
I'm
we
not
do?
even going to talk
Should
about
we
the
try to get
terrible
outside?
acting.
Stay quiet. We should stay put. Wait here.
Yes, sir, he's just going to be standing there looking. He wouldn't even try to run.
What's going on?
It's not safe to be out there. There's someone coming.
What are we gonna do now?
Let's move this table to the door.
Is there a way to...
What's really dumb about this is that in this video, they admit that the table's not going to stop the shooter. You'll see it in a second. They go, "We can't block the door." Why the hell are you putting the table in front of the door then? We'll get to that in a second. I got a lot to say about that.
Lock the door?
Not from inside.
What?
What?
Whoa, that was close. We're all gonna die here. It's alright. We're not gonna die. We're gonna be okay.
Everyone grab something. Grab something. Something that can be used as a weapon.
My room door bell goes off because you got bats inside. Oh,
If
so
that
it's a
door
fierce
opens,
moment.
don't hesitate.
All right. Let's stop here. Everything wrong with this scenario. You can summarize it in this moment. The dude to the right already admitted that the door's not going to be stopped by that table. Why the hell are you leaving it there as a tripping hazard, knowing you're going to have to attack the shooter who walks in? Number two, you're a freaking idiot because behind you, you have couches that are heavy, and you producers who make these so-called training videos to do the state regs to prepare for active shooters, you moronically ignore the fact that there are heavy couches behind these people that could be used to barricade the door, but not just barricade the door, because putting a couch in front of a door doesn't necessarily work. If you're strong enough to put it there, they're strong enough to move it with the leverage of the door, which is why you have the concept of making a wedge. Wedging the door by putting the furniture between the door and the opposite wall. It wedges the door shut. Those couches are probably long enough to do that. If not, if they come a little bit short, you have other items in the room to potentially put between the space to make it happen. You have options. And they're just completely ignoring those couches in the room. And you go, "Oh, they're too heavy." Those men are capable. The women can help the men. All four of them could move that couch quickly. You saw how far down the hallway the shooter was. When you watch footage of shooters going through a school or going through the hallways of a place, they're very thorough to move. Like, they're not running. They're moving very thoroughly. So it's going to take the shooter a little bit to get down there, even if he sees somebody running into this room. So get those couches in front of the door and wedge the door shut. Number two, you're acting like you are too dumb to know that those will work. You leave the table in front of the door. You grab the worst improvised weapons possible. The first thing I see here is this woman holding this chair. That's going to bounce right off the shooter. The worst weapon you can have with a shooter is one that creates space between you and the shooter. There's some examples of this on Rokus's USDC channel, the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship, where he's taken martial artists and put them in simulations, in real-time simulations, to practice self-defense situations. And the best ones are the knife attacker ones, where some people have to fight off a knife attacker. Obviously, it's not a real knife. It's kind of like a foam knife with a marker on it that they put markings on your body to show where you've been stabbed. In almost every case, people get stabbed. They can't get away. The most successful person was Natan Levy, who the first season incapacitated a guy. Well, that's a big... He knocked a guy out, knocked the wind out of somebody with a spinning back kick. And not everybody can do a spinning back kick. But then the following year, he just used kicks and got through every round, I think, without getting stabbed, barely getting stabbed. Kicks are valuable against a knife attacker. But whenever it comes to being attacked by a knife, the phrase, never bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, if you have no choice, a knife is better than something that puts space between you and the shooter. You swing that chair at the shooter, he's going to jump back. You think of football players who draw back to throw a football, and the defender immediately reacts. To swing a chair, you have to lift it up. The shooter sees it coming, and he shoots you. As opposed to a knife where you just stab straight forward, and he doesn't see it coming. Because you're not drawing back, you're pushing forward. It's unexpected. Number 2, positioning yourself. Obviously, you don't attack a shooter out in the open. He's going to shoot you. He'll see you coming a mile away with a knife. But if he's about to enter a door, don't have the table there, because that just delays his time in getting through the door, which creates more time for him to notice you so that he can raise his gun and shoot you. Whereas if you don't have the object there delaying him, when he opens the door and comes through, you're able to have the element of surprise and stab him quicker. And you don't have the table there as a tripping hazard to you. But number 1, they should be barricading that door with those couches, and the producers are idiots for not thinking about that. The dude here holding his IV bag stand, that's not going to do crap. That's, again, creating distance. Creating distance for the shooter to just shoot you. That doesn't work. This guy holding the fire extinguisher, you're about to see something he does wrong here. And the guy holding the coffee pot. Oh, it's so fierce. So brave. I got mixed feelings about this. The coffee pot, they could have given an example of the coffee pot being full. Yeah, you can make the argument coffee pots are not always full, but you could have given that illustration to show how hot coffee is a good improvised weapon. Another thing is breaking the coffee pot so that the sharp glass could be a valuable slicing tool. Now, I understand the counter argument. You break the glass, the shooter hears you in there, he knows what to expect. So I get that. I'm not necessarily saying that's not a risk and that's not a vulnerability. So I get that. There's probably better weapons in the coffee pot, though, because you're in a break room. Break rooms don't always have knives in the drawers, but sometimes they do. So maybe look for a knife and see if that's available. There's probably things that are a lot more valuable here that would be better than that coffee pot. When I'm looking at the guy lifting up his IV stand, you're about to potentially die anyways. Just take the needle out of your arm and use that to hopefully stab the guy in the throat. I know it's just a needle. It's not really going to incapacitate him, but that's more painful than using that bag. As for this fire extinguisher, I don't necessarily hate the fire extinguisher. I hate the way it's about to be used. And yeah, sure. You're just going to swing it.
That door opens,
and he's
don't
not going to
hesitate.
A shooter's going to see you and he's going to jump back. I'm not saying he won't get hit. He's going to jump back and he's going to fire his gun. Somebody's going to die. And then he'll take multiple shots. Why are you hitting him with the fire extinguisher instead of spraying it in his face before hitting him? Spraying it in his face. Now, somebody could argue he'll fire the gun. Okay. You're still blinding him. Number 2, yeah, somebody's going to get hit. You're positioning everybody in front of the door instead of off to the side. A real good example, again, back to that channel I talked about, Rokas from the USDC. He collaborated with 2 men. I forget what their channel's called. Well, it's a group of people. And he has a really good video. It's one of the few videos I've seen about active shooters that is really valuable information. Where they line up one in front of the other next to a wall. You've got the wall off to the right side here that the dude's standing at. If he moved the table, that would be a very good position. Um, you do have off to the side, the other side of the door where the counter is. I don't really care for the space that the counter's creating for the guy to notice you, which is why I think the other wall's a better option. Somebody else who practices this stuff in real simulations might have something better to say, but I feel like I feel like anything that gives you the element of surprise to jump at him, but not with an item that you swing and give him reaction timing to jump back. That fire extinguisher could blind him while another person jumps towards him with a knife or jumps towards him with something else that is valuable, a valuable improvised weapon. And we could probably go back in this video and assess even further. That's the one thing I say about active shooter videos. Unlike when you're reviewing a product, these ones you don't necessarily have to do first impression. Don't do first impression, do multiple impressions, because there's always something you can pick up on, and the more you study it, the more you prepare yourself for those types of situations. So I'm going to actually backtrack here, and let's see if we can pick up some items that might be valuable. I don't know what that is in the background there. The far wall behind the guy holding the stand for his IV bag. That looks like some sort of glass that might be usable. This dude holding the fire extinguisher has something in his front pocket. I don't know what that is. Anything sharp. Because when you jump at the shooter as he comes through the door, you're closing the distance. And when you close the distance and you know how to handle the gun to push it away from your body, and you have everybody else lined up behind you so that you're pushing the gun away from them, the line of fire is going somewhere else, then everybody can jump him effectively. Again, watch that video on Rokus's channel, The Ultimate Self-Defense Championship. His latest video, I think it's a couple months old, at least a few weeks old. That they'll show you how to do it with multiple people. You line up against the wall, and there's a way to deter the gun. We're gonna go back even further. We're back to this point where he's looking at like the coffee pot as a weapon. He could fill the coffee pot with hot water. You see the hot water switch, and that water does get boiling. He could totally fill it with that. If you don't have hot coffee, you have the hot water there. The splash in his face. Pain's good. Now, that does create space. That comes back to what I said earlier about, like, creating space. But if you're lunging at him anyways, I don't know. It's just stuff, just assessments to make. Oh, you could throw her at him. Table needs to be moved. Okay, here we go. We got a better look at the counter here. Let's just see if there's anything of value here that they're not thinking about. Search those cabinets. See if there's forks. A fork can stab somebody. Spoon, not so much, but I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're really strong enough, you could shove a spoon in somebody's jugular. But you got a dishwasher there, so obviously there's silverware in this room. Where that dude's positioned at the door, you close the door. Now, if the guy's going to shoot through the door, obviously you don't want to be there. But I'm thinking about the attacker coming. You almost want to be against that wall because when he opens the door, that's where you're going to lunge at him to stab him. Normally, you'd be where the counter is. But I feel like the counter with that gap there has such an opening that the shooter sees you coming and it creates too much space for you to get shot. Somebody might have something to say about that. You've got electronics off to the right here. I don't know what's in that pile. Here's the thing about being in a room this small, and that's the woman who was commentating beforehand, there are things that you can look for to be good improvised weapons. The improvised weapon you want to come up with is the one that can incapacitate him as quick as possible without creating space, without causing him to create space. Anytime your arm is drawing back to swing something, they're going to react. Whereas if you have something that you stab forward, you could have a large weapon if it stabs. For instance, a pitchfork. It stabs. It's huge, but it stabs. So there's no reaction when it's coming at him. It's like a bayonet. There's stuff here that almost everything you do have to draw back with.
They're still shooting.
Again,
and
there's
it's
some
getting closer. What do we
options
do? Should we try to get outside?
Stay quiet. We should stay put.
We got a view of the fridge here too. Food in there, but I'm just saying, there is definitely silverware in there, and people could be grabbing knives, so that when the shooter comes in, they close the distance and they immediately stab him and wrestle the gun out of his hand. This video is awful. Poor woman. At the end of the hallway.
What's going on?
It's not safe to be out there. There's someone coming.
What are we gonna do now?
We didn't get that from the gunshot.
Oh,
Let's move this table to the door.
is there a way to lock the door?
Not from inside.
What?
What?
Well, that
Plenty
was
of ways you
close.
could lock the door from the inside.
We're all gonna die here. It's all right. We're not gonna die. We're gonna be okay.
Everyone grab something.
Grab something.
Again, every camera angle you can come up with information.
Well, that was close.
I was looking at this part
We're all
where
gonna die.
they show his face.
It's all right. We're not gonna die. We're gonna be okay.
Top of the fridge there, you've got some bowls. Those are useless. I'm trying to see what's on top of it.
Everyone grab something.
Grab
Even the toaster oven behind him.
Well, that was close. We're all gonna die here. It's all right. We're not gonna die. We're gonna be okay.
Everyone grab something.
The shooters at the end of the hallway. The shooters at the end of the hallway. You break glass from that toaster oven. He doesn't necessarily know what room it's coming from because he's way down the hallway. He just hears something break. So he's going to be cautious in every room that he looks in anyways. That's kind of the nature of a shooter. But he doesn't know what room it's come from because he's way down the hallway. And you have this information because you looked out there. So if you know you have the time, smash that toaster oven and take the largest piece of glass. Maybe take some paper towels for the end of the glass that is going to be facing your hand to keep yourself from getting cut, but use that as your weapon to attack his throat.
What?
And the reason why I'm doing this, don't take my word for it. Watch some self-defense videos from the practitioners. Go to Icy Mike's Hard to Hurt. He talks about improvised weapons all the time. He talks about how to think about these things. In an active shooter situation, things happen quickly. You don't have time to think about this stuff, which is why you try to think about it ahead of time. I don't work tonight, but my alarms go off every single night because I never know when they might change my schedule around. You never know when you'll be in a situation, if a situation arises, and your brain moves so fast that once you practice thinking about what a good improvised weapon is, it becomes second nature, hopefully. I carry a flashlight everywhere I go. The one time I got attacked by a client of mine at work, I forgot all about pulling out the flashlight to shine it in his face as a self-defense tool. I don't say weapon because I'm not harming him, but a self-defense tool. You easily forget stuff when you're not thinking about it, but hopefully you can train your mind to think about things.
That
Think
was
critically.
close.
The number one rule is as a shooter, you want to incapacitate him
We're not gonna die.
quickly.
We're gonna be okay.
And sharp objects would do
Grab
that when you close the
something.
distance.
Something that can be used as a weapon.
I'm even looking at the pole that his IV bag's on, and I'm wondering if some way that could be disassembled for a sharp object to be on that. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But again, like these hooks at the top of it, can they be turned into improvised weapons if they detach? Would they be pointy enough? Probably not. These are things you can put thought into ahead of time as you study these videos.
Opens, don't hesitate.
I'm so sick of the awful acting though. Stupid alarms. I got another one going off in another minute. My cat set off my Ring doorbells all day. So that's the thing that I'm talking about with these training videos. This one's called, it's by Remscape, Active Shooter Response in Healthcare Settings. It's a shame that this type of bullcrap exists. You can still use it to your advantage by watching it and seeing if you can think critically about what would be a better option than what they do in the video. That's why I overview these all the time.